Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and More Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. Getting a second video this week, now aren't you lucky? Actually, I feel like I'm the one who's a little bit lucky. I got to work yesterday, and then calculated my floating holidays that would expire by the end of the year, and realized, holy crap, I've got enough left over that I don't have to work for the rest of the week, so I'm not. I'm staying home, and what else is there to do but play a little bit of video games for you guys? So, let's move on to the custom scenarios. By the way, in the last video, it does seem that there is interest in doing the official scenarios, so I will work those in occasionally. I haven't figured out how I'm going to fit that into a schedule yet, so I'm not saying that I'm going to sit down and do a dedicated series on it yet. But on occasion, I'll work it in, and I'll see if I can possibly tackle it at a higher difficulty. I haven't really experimented with that yet. I'm still thinking it through. Maybe Mega Brutal. Could be kind of fun. Or it could be just fun to kind of goof around and do the same thing we've been doing custom scenarios. I don't know. But either way, let's move on for now. Still have not decided what I'm going to be playing today. I actually kind of like just randomly finding one. What should we go for? Let's see. World War III Flu Mutation? That sounds kind of fun. Alright. World War III has been going on for about 43 years now. Ouch. Long freaking war. And things aren't looking great for humanity at the moment. Well, no, I would imagine not. Considering the extremely powerful weapons arsenal at humanity's disposal at this point in time, 43 years of that is bound to result in millions dead. The primary forces involved are Russia, China, and the United States, Korea, Germany, and their respective allies. What, Germany's its own side? I think not. They will join the United States. So will Korea, dang it. Probably, I don't know. Although, who knows? These days, maybe it's the United States and Russia taking on everyone else. That could happen, right? Thanks, Trump. Looters, fugitives, and criminal gangs are on the loose. Because plagues and diseases seemed like the least threatening thing on humanity's plate, advanced cure technology is only used on government officials and soldiers. We call that preferential treatment. However, little does humanity know there is a powerful disease on its way. What seems like the common cold or a simple influenza to most has much potential. In fact, it has the power to wipe out humanity, should it be given the right conditions to do so. What will end the war first? Bombs, peace, or disease? I'm sorry, peace is going to end the war. Oh, end the war. I thought it said end the world for a minute. Bombs, peace, or disease? Yeah, that sounds pretty promising, and honestly, pretty well written. Not bad. Let's give it a shot. It's a virus type again. Do we want to go for the Darwinist playthrough? That was kind of fun last time, but you know what? Let's actually switch things up to Genetic Mimic. I'm just going to buy myself some time, see what we can do with that. Aquaside, Extremophile, and Transstasis. Let's switch over to a Symptostasis and continue. Oh, there is no easy mode allowed. Well, it's a good thing I wasn't planning on playing with that. Nasopharyngitis is what they're calling it. Okay, nasopharyngitis it is. Hidden under a mask. What appears to be a typical strain of influenza doesn't seem very dangerous, however this strain is actually extremely dangerous and unstable. It will most likely go through a series of random mutations, whether good or bad. With threats of nuclear attacks rising, it may be more difficult for diseases, and, well, any living things for that matter, to survive. Comma unnecessary here, but I appreciate the sentiment. Okay, we're starting in Russia. Russia is to blame. You heard it here first, guys. Russia is to blame. Alright, let's take a look at the transmissions. We have a frick ton of options. Because more is better, right? We have birds, rodents, insects, blood. Corpse? Pathogen is able to survive on in the corpses of dead animals and humans. Ah, mini gangrene or necrosis. I love it. We'll be grabbing this, most definitely as we get lethality. Livestock, human contact, so basically fomites, right? Air, water, and plant. So a lot of options here. Kinda wishing I had gone with the Transstasis, but I didn't. Symptoms, we start off with mental instability. Stress from war and poverty has caused various mental illnesses in the victims. That does not sound like it is related to the plague, it sounds like it is related to outside factors such as war and poverty, but okay, we'll take credit for it anyway. We also have excessive mucus buildup. The production and buildup of excessive mucus causes fits of coughing and or sneezing. Radiation poisoning. Again, that's not really due to... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that this Plague Inc. scenario has something to do with the plague, but also a little bit of evolving the war itself. Right, because the virus here can't take credit for radiation poisoning. Right, that's the nuclear holocaust doing that. So I'm going to assume that we're directing the war a little bit as far as killing humanity and the plague simultaneously. That's just the assumption I feel like I have to come to at this point. Hypno Phobia. Excessive stress and fear of death induces an irrational fear of falling asleep. Ah, I've known somebody with that. Well, not full-blown, kind of a very minor case of it, but still. Poor person. I thought it was insomnia, but supposedly they actually had a condition. Anxiety! Yes. The bane of the millennial generation. Fear and stress of being in a war zone causes frequent panic attacks and worrying. Depression! I kind of like this icon. It's a little smiley face with lots of question marks, like, what's happiness? I don't know. Excessive stress causes a loss of hope and meaning of life for victim, inducing sleep and suicidal ideation. I imagine inducing sleep, but also being terrified of sleep means this is going to be in conflict with each other, and just kind of a horrible situation for the poor person, therefore causing anxiety and suicide. Slows future cure research speed. I like that. Abilities. Ooh. There's actually quite a lot of customization in this so far. I'm kind of impressed. I'm wondering why I only got 4 stars, but we'll see. We got drug, heat, and cold resistance. That's pretty standard. We have infectivity trade, increases cure research speed, but infectivity increases. Research trade, future cure research slowed, but infectivity decreases. That's kind of clever having the options there. Viral instability, that's standard. Bioterrorism. Bioterrorists manufacture a new strain of the disease to use against others. Infectivity, severity, and lethality significantly increased for 39 points. My god. And then we have substance inhalation. Inhalation of substances, i.e. gunpowder and smoke, in the air makes the immune system weaker. Makes disease extremely infectious in war zones. Now, what defines a war zone in this scenario? That's interesting. I don't know, it doesn't really say. It's not like you create, like, the creator of the scenario created a new criteria for a nation saying, hey, this is an active war zone. Although that would be awesome if so. Unless it got renamed. No, it's still a poor country. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a pop-up. If not, I would highly recommend a pop-up saying, hey, here are the active war zones. Or maybe just the entire world is considered a war zone. I mean, they did say that the United States, Russia, China, and so on were main participants, but it also includes their allies, so I'm not sure. That would actually be a really cool modifier, your own custom modifier in the game, though. I like the concept behind that. Make it happen, people, make it happen. Alright, do we want to be better in trees, grass, and shrubs, a little bit of extra infectivity? Nah, let's hold off on a couple extra points. We did start off in Russia, which means we are good in rural, cold, and water. Plague Simulator game goes viral. Yes, it did. Hardy har. Puns, I love it. Do we want to go for the livestock? We would be a lot better in Russia itself, but we're also a humid country, so let's go for water. That's a lot more effective, and a lot of the neighboring countries, such as Finland and Sweden and Norway, are also humid. So a little bit of humidity could work out pretty well for us. And also we have a chance of getting from Russia into Greenland early. I'm a little bit worried about Madagascar, the Caribbean, and probably New Guinea, actually. Anxiety mutated. Alright, people are anxious. Kinda sucks for them now, don't it? Do we want to go for a little bit of livestock? Yeah, let's go for the livestock next. A little bit of rural transmission, help us get a little bit of ground in Russia a little faster before the mutations kill us. After that, what should we go for? I'm gonna go for a level of air, because air will be useful eventually, guaranteed, and there is an airport in Russia. So we might be able to make that work for us. Starting in a cold country is not something I'm very accustomed to. Radiation poisoning mutated. Okay, is that lethal? That is lethal, and I can't devolve? This is a lot of lethality considering, guys. It's a lot of lethality considering, and it turns out the symptoms don't really have much infectivity to them. Hypothermia. Yeah, that's a lot of lethality. I'm kind of thinking that going for a creationist playthrough might have been better for this. Little did I know, but alright. Nope, just keep saving up for the transmissions. Really regret going for the symptostasis. Transstasis would have been better, but hey, you don't know. Whoa! Hello! Well, that was pretty cool. Alright, let's go for the birds. Birds are pretty good. I might go for a level of necrosis, simply because we are killing. So let's go ahead and grab a level of that, just to make sure we don't lose any ground. We are actually spreading shockingly fast considering. What's this? Corpse 2. Rotting flesh, foliage, or otherwise living matter. Living matter as opposed to dying or dead rotting matter? Fascinating. Could plants be okay? Yeah, it could be, but I think I'd actually rather go for a level of insect, just for a little bit of passive heat resistance. Let's go for a level of that. Minor disease. Alright, they found us. We actually spread a lot faster in Russia than I was expecting. Perhaps a little bit too fast. Now, we are generating DNA rather quickly, which is nice. I'm going to go for a level of water next, because I want to increase my odds of getting to islands. We did get into the United States, which has an open port to get into the Caribbean, so that's good. The question is what to do now. Let's go for a level of drug resistance and heat resistance. We're going to need the resistances early. Russia's starting to work on a cure. Okay. Okay. We are spreading very rapidly. That's one good thing about us. I kind of wonder if the creator of the disease went through and changed all of the passive disease resistance in the different countries to be a little bit stronger. A little bit worried about Africa, really worried about islands. That's what's going to get us right now, and this lethality is going to encourage these nations to shut down their ports very early. Now, what would be really awesome about a bioterrorism, there it is instead of just increasing your infectivity, severity, and lethality, it actually encouraged terrorists to use weapons in countries that otherwise were not infected. So in other words, infect a random new country. That would be a pretty cool change to bioterrorism. I like that concept. Can I change the lethality? I want to reduce lethality, dang it. We could increase drug resistance. I'm instead going to go for another level of heat resistance. We need more transmission. Could be better in poor countries. That wouldn't be so bad. Alternatively, human contact. This doesn't seem to have any impact with a particular resistance type or infectivity type. Unless it, like, scales with population. That'd be kind of cool. Or population density. So urban, basically. Blood is good in poor countries, is the thing. But it also increases mutation chance, which is one of the things that's a problem with me going for the birds and the livestock, is I am increasing my mutation chance a fair bit. I would love to go for Insect 2, and I think that's what I'm going to go for. That'll be much better in the hot countries. And it's a lot of extra infectivity in addition to all of that. Alright, now they say that they started working on the cure, but they haven't actually done much yet. We are missing New Zealand, Madagascar, and the Caribbean. Now, New Zealand I think we can get to via plane, so we'll be okay. The Caribbean and Madagascar, that's our threat. So what do we go for? Should we go for a level of air? Now, that's good in arid environments, which is a lot of Africa, so I'm okay with that. Finland is starting to shut down their borders. Hypothermia just mutated. We did get into the Caribbean and Madagascar. Okay, so I was wrong. New Zealand is the primary concern for us at this point. But they haven't shut anything important down, so maybe we'll be okay. Let's hold on to our points. I think we just got into New Zealand. We did. Okay, shockingly enough, we are spreading pretty well. Missing Morocco, Algeria, and Central Africa. We do have birds. I think we might be fine. Think. We will be fine. So do we want to go for something else like, let's say, a level of viral instability just to get some mutations so we can start killing? At this point, if we've gotten into every country, I'm not worried about lethality, because the necrosis will ensure that we do spread via corpses. So, you know what? Yeah, let's go for a level of viral instability. In fact, do we want to go for 2? Yeah, let's go for 2. And anything else I need to get here? I could get the birds just to greatly increase the chance of me getting into other land countries. You know what? We'll go for a level of land transmission. And that's all the transmission I'm going to get. Symptoms now. We did get sneezing. We have access to coughing and hemoptysis. Is that how you say it? Blood, along with mucus, is expelled via coughing and sneezing, increasing infectivity. It'd be awesome if this has a combo, by the way, with blood transmission. I like it when people do that. Not everyone does. We did get hypothermia, so prolonged exposure to the cold might mean death. We have depression. We have access to suicidal ideation. Chronic depression induces thoughts and fantasies of one's own death. It doesn't seem to do anything else. I imagine this is a stepping stone to the next horrible thing. And then Hypno Phobia, fear of falling asleep. A little bit severe, but let's go ahead and pick it up to see what it opens up. Cognitive impairment. Slows future cure research speed. There's actually not a lot of symptoms, which kind of surprises me. We did get coughing. That's good. These are getting a little bit expensive considering we did get the symptostasis, but we'll be okay then. I just need to kill a lot faster at this point. Hemoptysis just generated for free. Do we want to go for suicidal ideation to try and work down a death route? We also have choking. Buildup of blood and mucus and respiratory system can result in the victim choking to death. But let's go for suicidal ideation. That leads to actual suicide, which is nowhere near as lethal as I was expecting it to be. Excessive suicidal ideation or fear causes the victim to take their own life. We will go for cognitive impairment next, just to reduce the cure research speed. We also have psychosis for hallucinations, and acute sleep deprivation. Often lethal, but it doesn't say it gives me any lethality. So this doesn't actually seem very useful. It seems like it might actually be broken. A little disappointing there, but okay. We are getting a lot of mutation, though, thanks to our transmission choices. In fact, we just got 2 things for free here, so okay. That's a bit of lethality build-up for us. We need to get choking next, I think. Psychosis, it doesn't really say will do much for me. But but lethality is the only way we are going to continue getting more DNA right now. Whoa, we are getting a lot of things I wasn't expecting. Okay, choking's done. Now we have total organ failure. We also have suffocation. Failure to unclog airways can lead to difficulty with breathing, eventually suffocating the victim to death. 27 points, not a lot of lethality. I think that's the one thing I'm a little bit disappointed about right now, is there's not quite as much lethality as I was expecting in this scenario. Schizophrenia. Victim experiences auditory and visual hallucinations, resulting in episodes of antisocial behavior, which could result in injury or death. I'm actually not going to pick up either of these because the mutation will take me the rest of the way. Instead, I'm going to focus my DNA on some abilities. I was thinking maybe bioterrorism. We could go for substance inhalation, but I don't want to be extremely infectious at this point. Doesn't matter. The lethality matters. So bioterrorism makes sense. Alternatively, I could try to slow down the cure. We do not need... Yeah, you know what? We can actually do a research trade as well if we want to lose a little bit of infectivity, because I don't need this anymore. That might be a better version. The thing is, I don't know the numbers. How much research speed are we losing, as opposed to the genetic hardening, which is cheaper? And the answer is I don't know. Bioterrorism, however, does cost 44 points. Yowzas. Schizophrenia, they're just... Yeah, I told you that was coming for free. Okay, it did. Let's... Genetic hardening and research trade. Vitality loss. Smoke and radiation from bombs and attacks blocks out the sun, depriving living things from sunlight. Slows future cure research speed, but decreases infectivity even further. So it's basically the same thing. Suffocation mutated for free. Told you that was on the way, and look at that. We are down to 7% with the transmission cure research. Kind of surprising how that worked out. We can't mutate anything else. And the only real abilities left are bioterrorism. So I'm going to say that the main weakness of the scenario right now are not enough lethality. That would be my primary criticism. It doesn't feel like we get very far. I can't get supply contamination, but this is pretty much the max lethality in this scenario. Now that said, it seems to be working out pretty well. Maybe that's fine, because we actually played it pretty well. Our cure is only 9%. So I guess it doesn't need to have that much more lethality. It just feels like it's a little underwhelming in that sense. But otherwise, I'm going to say that this is actually a really well put together scenario, and I like it. Let's go for a genetic reshuffle and buy myself a little bit more score. I like the scenario. There's a lot of customization in here. Somebody put in a lot of work. It's actually quite impressive. So I do kind of always question if we need this much transmission. I've said it before and I'll say it again. More is not always better. Sometimes it is, but in this case, maybe a little bit much, but I don't know. You know, it's not necessarily wrong. I guess I would rather have too many options than too few. Just be careful you're not overcrowding it. That said, having a little bit of corpse transmission makes this scenario a heck of a lot easier. I would say that there could be more symptoms. The mutation might be a little bit high because we were kind of churning these out really quickly. And I was not going for a Darwinist playthrough. Had I gone for that, we would have gotten these extremely fast. So a little bit more symptoms and a little bit more lethality might be appropriate, but hey, I mean, it clearly works. And the abilities are, nothing really to complain about that. That's pretty solid, actually. A lot of customization is what it comes down to, though. So much effort went into this scenario, and I applaud that. I really, really do. Anything else I want to grab just for a quick little bit of score? Yeah, sure, let's just grab a little bit of cold resistance. Not that it matters, but we'll do it. Nasopharyngitis to eradicate humanity. It was not World War III we had to be worried about. It was our poor healthcare systems. Done. Not bad, though. 3 stars. Hey, check it out. I did pretty well there, I think. That was a good scenario. I really do like that scenario a lot. It was clearly pretty well balanced. If anything, maybe it was a little easier than it ought to be. But, yeah, I mean, I guess at one hand, it's kind of difficult for me to criticize not enough lethality, and at the same time, we are lethal enough that I got 3 stars and it was kind of easy. I don't know. Either way, I thought that this was a really well put together scenario. So much thought went into it. And lots of customization, which means I can only imagine how many hours were spent on this. And overall, a pretty good theme, and it all works. All of it makes sense to me. I don't know. I liked this. I liked the scenario quite a bit, and I am definitely going to give it a thumbs up and recommend it. Why it is only at 4 stars, I don't know. It totally deserves 5. I have played so many scenarios that are at 5 stars that are not as good as this one. So, yeah, you know what? My Plague Inc. horde, descend upon the scenario and give them thumbs up. I don't have that kind of power, but I kind of wish I did. Either way. Thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe before I leave you. What was the name of that guy? I just want to take a look at it real quick. His name was Vexelchan. Vexel Chan, well done. Alright, now I'm done. See you guys later. Bye-bye.